Okay. Everybody ready? I'm going to go ahead and call us to order. This is the single meeting, the regular meeting in our summer schedule for the Manassas Park governing body for the 19th of July. I don't have any adjustments to the agenda. I don't think there are any, so we'll go with the agenda as presented. Governing body's pleasure on approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. If everyone rise for a moment of silence, and Michael, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is citizens' time. Do we have anyone signed up who would like to address the governing body?
There's no one on the list.
Anyone? Seeing none, we'll move on. Our next item is a public hearing. It's an ordinance. I hesitate to use the term, but I think it's one we have to use, peddlers, and it's associated with the farmers market. I will declare that public hearing open. Is there anyone signed up who'd like to address the governing body? Anyone? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Our next item is a presentation on the strategic plan. Ryan, you're up. And while you're getting ready, I understand congratulations are in order. You were elected to the board for the chamber, is that correct?
That's correct.
Congratulations, Ryan.
So my presentation is really more of a discussion piece. This is in the planning stages, so what I've given to you is information about not only economic development, but just some issues for you to consider as we go through it. I think it'll be a process where we can pull together some different stakeholders to have input into the process. So what I've given you, again, is just kind of a template for how to start the process, and we go from there. That's really all I have to say about it, because it's more of just a layout to the plan and how to proceed with maybe some ideas for what we can do to pull together a strategic plan.
So how do you want to approach it from, okay, we've got the draft, so where do you want to go from here? What's
So
the
what
next
I'd
step?
like is input from the governing body on their ideas about some of the things that are in here. And then what I'll do is pull together stakeholders from the business community and the public. And then if possible, we can set a date and time to where we can all meet and come up with a draft of the strategic plan. This is not going to be a overnight thing, so I just wanted to give you the template for you to consider the things that are in it, and then go from there.
How soon do you want feedback from the governing body?
I would like to have it by the end of August.
Okay.
And this is not going to be. I realize that all of you are going to have different ideas and different approaches to this. So I'd like to get your input by the end of August.
Okay, just feedback directly to you by the end of August, so 6 weeks from now, roughly. Okay, does that work for everybody?
Works.
And then if it's okay with the governing body, I can communicate to you the what I want to do is go out and get some business leaders to participate. If you have any ideas for who you might think would be good to involve in that, I would appreciate that too.
You got a couple on the chamber with you.
I have a list, so if you have any others, I would appreciate that input.
Yeah, I would also ask you to include the Flory Center.
Yes, absolutely.
Make sure they are participants.
I spoke with Ms. Decker this week, so.
Good deal. Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next item is consent agenda. Consent agenda tonight consists of minutes for the June 21st meeting, an ordinance, health and safety, Manassas from the public hearing on June the 21st, The first quarter appropriations, first half of the 2017 budget, city half of the appropriations, $52,573,802. Schools first quarter appropriations, $14,495,739. And from IT Edge Network Switch Replacement, $26,979.78. Governing body's pleasure on approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
I'll abstain from the 21st meeting minutes.
One abstention from the minutes component. So motion passes. On to unfinished business. We have some discussion on the modular clinic at Costello Park and the contract award. Calvin?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. The modular clinic at Costello Park is at a stage where we need to make a crucial decision. We are running behind on schedule at this point. Any extension of grant funding that we received is likely only until the 1st of January. We're still on track to meet that schedule, but we do need to move forward with a contract. We visited with the two responsible respondents to the RFP, and we cut costs back as much as we saw was feasible. But where we are right now is with an option to do away with the brick facade that everyone was very fond of, and that would keep the project currently within budget, with one caveat that we don't yet know what the cost of Novec bringing electric utility to the site actually will be. But if we were to proceed with a cementitious siding material that could be painted any color we choose with a skirting material along the bottom, that allows us to use an alternative foundation method, which is essentially pier footings and pilings, and then skirted in, and a different flooring support system made of steel that reduces the cost of the building, makes it easier to place the building. It drastically reduces the costs of the clinic itself, the clinic component. And where it actually makes a major adjustment in the site work cost is because they don't have to dig and pour continuous footings, and they don't have to pour a foundation to set the brickwork on. The other option, the brick option, puts us back at the original estimate from Vanguard to do the brick facade, because we can't switch and go with an alternative foundation design and still do a brick facade, because we have to have continuous footings with a brick ledge. So the one option keeps us $12,000 roughly under budget, which gives us $12,000 to spend towards the electric utility location. The other option immediately puts us at $71,000 over budget, and we still don't know what those future costs from Novec could be. Now, we continue to pursue other funding options. Dr. Sutter is working hard to find more money. Dr. Ansher is working diligently to work with Novec to see if they will actually donate the electrical construction. So we don't yet know what the final cost would be, but if we don't move forward, if we don't pursue a contract at this point, we just risk falling farther and farther and farther behind schedule. So I'm here before you tonight to ask which of these two options staff should move forward with. If we should move forward with a contract that keeps us under budget, or if we should move forward with a contract that puts us over budget, knowing that we may not get any more money for this project, and we may be committing to a substantial figure on the city's part.
What is that substantial figure? I don't
It would
think
be
there
at
be some-
least $71,257 if we can't find more money. Now, that is a big if, and as I said, Dr. Sutter and Dr. Ansher are working diligently to try and find more money for this project. But we probably won't have an answer to that for some time, and we can't risk losing the grant funding and the extension on the grant funding by going past project schedule yet another time in January.
So would that be in addition to the Novec
Yes.
cost?
And there's two different things at play. One is, can we get more money from donors to fund the project? The other is, can we get Novec to donate a portion or all of the electrical construction? Which either option is possible, both options are possible. but I can't stand here before you without guarantees and tell you that we won't wind up spending some money on this if we go with the brick option. If we go with the brick option, there is a chance that the governing body would be committing the city to substantial funding. If we go with the cementitious siding option, there's a slight chance that we would be committing to some funding, but we're probably talking $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 3 or 4 months down the road. At which point we would have to get approval anyways because we would be over budget. But that's where we're at. We're looking.
So to clarify, option 1, those figures are accurate even if the extra funding referenced from George Mason does not come through?
Yes.
Okay.
That's within the existing approved budget that we have dollars in hand for.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not putting in here any of these figures. I'm not putting any potential future funding in here. These
Okay.
figures are as is today with no future funding, with no donation of service from Novec. These are the numbers as they look today. So
Okay, okay.
either of these figures could be erased or changed.
Yeah.
Rustin, you had a question?
When will we get the cost from Novec?
I'd hoped that we would get in touch early this week and they would meet me on site, understanding though that would be sending a design engineer to the site to evaluate. Then it would go back to a design team, and then they would either estimate in-house using in-house services or estimate through a contractor. So I'm assuming that we're probably a month away from knowing what that final cost could be.
If we go with option 1, will it be possible that the costs for Novec still exceed that amount that we're under?
The 12,000, yes, it's quite possible. That's why we're still continuing to pursue donation of services, and we're continuing to pursue funding. We're trying to make this cost neutral to the city,
Right.
but we're not there yet, and we don't know when that answer will come.
And has Novec had any past history of donating to?
Yes, they actually have a program.
Okay.
I don't know if Dr. Ansher knows much about the program, but they do have a program where they donate services for the public good. So,
Okay. And are you going to ask under that program or apply for that program? Or?
yes, we've already applied.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Come on up.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Answer.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
I've already applied, and they actually called me back, and I provided them contact information to Calvin so that they could go out and meet with him and have the design people determine how much it would cost and what would be required.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Brian?
Did I see, I'm having trouble finding it in here, but was there potential for right-of-way acquisition costs?
It wouldn't be right of way, but Novec could very well, as a part of their costs, need to attain easement from a private landowner on the corner of Courtney and Lambert. It's yet to be determined if they have the room to set the poles they need to set within public right of way. If they could set them in public right of way that already exists, there would be no such cost. But those would, an easement would be how they would go. The city wouldn't take any right of way. Novec would just be granted an easement from the homeowner.
Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
I continue to favor option 1 with the cementitious siding. I don't think it can be compared to any other part of the city because it's a different building, different use, different location behind Costello Center, and because the clinic is important to the city, I think.
And I also favor option 1 just to get this get it started and moving forward, because I think it is a benefit to the city and we need to get this moving. So I support option 1 as well.
I've had discussion with a number of citizens who would probably be users of the facility, and it is much anticipated, and so I don't think, from the perspective of good community involvement, we should defer this. So, given the financial impacts, I'm in support of option 1. Brian?
I'm not going to support option 1, just, I'm in support of the clinic. I just think we set a different expectation for the homeowners down there when they came in and we described this. So I'm also concerned, it doesn't feel like there's an upper limit on the potential cost of Novec. I don't know whether that's, you said 10, 20, 30, we're waiting for the costs. Could it be 50, 60, 80? Could it be 200? You know?
Yeah, I'm just really not, the only reference I really would have would be from the last work they did with their relocations at Euclid. But I think that in the report, I think I said typically when they're not set to make any more money, the price goes up. When they're going to set a meter and they're going to charge for service and they stand to have a new monthly service, probably the construction costs go down. So to say that they charged us $10,000 for a single guy stake at Euclid probably isn't realistic when they're talking about setting pole and guy stakes for a new service. I've seen homeowners probably 6-7 years ago get poles set on their property for $3,500 to $5,000. Now, whether those required guying, how the arrangement was, so much is going to depend on what Novec's design engineer sees when he comes out there, the kind of pole they have to set, how they have to guy it, and what kind of easement they need to obtain from the owner.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, anything else?
Yeah, I'm okay with the option one. As I said, I think the expectation is for the modular clinic, so we should go with the option one. It would be nice to have option two, but I favor option one.
Anything else?
I'm in favor of option one, but when you choose the color for the building, can you also get input from Jay? Because, I mean, it's near the community center and his other things in the park. So I think he would need some input as well in terms of the color for that.
And you'll brief us on the color prior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
I move we approve option 1.
Second.
motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
One in opposition, abstentions? Motion carries. Move forward.
Thank you.
You.
Next item is the Keystone Program update. Judd, welcome. Thank you.
Members of the council, hello again. I'm Judd Vandervoort. I'm president of Keystone Information Systems.
Hey.
And I'm here with Carol Davis, also our product manager for our revenue applications, our property tax applications. I'm here to provide a positive update, I think, on the remaining items in this multi-phased implementation we have been involved with in implementing a citywide business and operational system for the city and schools here in Manassas Park. As you know from past recent discussions, the phase that we're into now is the one that involved the most software development, some new pieces being built specifically for use by the Commissioner of the Revenue's Office and the Treasurer's Office, some upgraded applications we needed to put in for your public works, utility billing, and collections. So we are into, I think, the final lap on some software development, some testing, training, and tasks, and in terms of going through first cycles with things on the revenue side of the operations. Most specifically, we've been very focused lately with you all on the Commissioner of the Revenue applications, and specifically on the two large tasks that are coming up of the personal property tax billing and the real estate tax billing. And so those are the current focus. And where we are with those is the product has been delivered. We are into a mode of receiving feedback from your users, which is a natural part of the process. So we recognize that that's where we're going to get the best input about usability, about efficiency, about steps that they have to take that we don't see day to day as software developers. We need that feedback. We are receiving that feedback, and we are making changes where practical and feasible in a kind of I think, very timely way. We are making updates to the systems so that as we're getting good practical ideas for streamlining things and making things more efficient, we are building those into the product. So that's the mode we're in now. The staff is using the system, is very busily doing the data input and update that is needed to get ready for these tasks of personal property and real estate billing, tax billing. We recognize that the time is shorter now than has been in the past years when you've done this. The cycle is shorter. There is already some additional assistance in the Commissioner's office, and we've been discussing with your staff options to increase capability to be putting data into the system to keep on track. An updated timeline document has been discussed and reviewed with Keystone team members and appropriate Manassas Park team members. And I think that's here for circulation this evening. I think the city staff has that. And it's been passed out? Okay, it's been passed out. Okay. And, we've had a lot of input into that document, and so has members of your team here, and we feel that that's a realistic and feasible document in terms of timeframes remaining for these tasks. We think that everything that's listed there is well understood between our teams in terms of what we have to do and what needs to be done at your end. So I think it's a pretty well-worked plan. So I'll take questions or...
Questions from the governing body?
Wait,
All right, so I want to go, Debbie. Where are you? How are you doing with this?
I'm okay with it. As I told them, I'm not real comfortable with the dates, but some of those are contingent upon Myra getting me some additional help. We're doing the best that we can, working as hard as we can, aiming for getting them out by September 1st.
We're going to get the help?
Yes.
Okay.
is
Winnie? Everything okay from your end?
Yes.
So Gary, Julia, Sid, Myra.
I think the deadline, as long as we can get the help, it's a practical deadline. If there's anything that happens, if there's a hiccup, we will come back and report it to you immediately and let you know. But, we have to put a deadline in place, and we're hoping to make that deadline.
So what I'm hearing is, this is reasonable. Everybody's saying, given help coming and not hitting any substantial hiccups, we're going to meet the deadlines. And we're not going to miss the delivery of the documentation out to the citizens that has to be delivered. Right? Okay.
I'll add to that, we trying to participate as much as we can. We're going to send a staff member at no charge to do some training when you get the temporary staff in place,
thank you.
so that we can participate in getting those people up to speed as quickly as possible once you have them lined up.
All right, so I'm going to carry this one step further then. When we do that training, to the degree that we can, video it, capture it somehow, so as we have staff turnover or changes in people, we'll have that training available for folks to be able to take advantage of. So get with IT, I don't care how we do it, but let's get that imaged and captured so we have that available.
Did you mention the licenses at cost?
No, I didn't. No, we're willing to do that, absolutely. So one of the issues that was raised when you went to see the system was the need to open multiple sessions sometimes to be able to jump back and forth between things. That consumes an additional user license. The issue is right now while we're still in a development mode, we're taking some of your user licenses from time to time as we're still in a development mode. But you probably want to have some of these licenses going forward anyway, so we're willing to work with you on a reduced cost. We have to buy them from a third party, so we're willing to work with you on a reduced cost that gives up our margin in them and passes those licenses along to you if you'd like to increase the license count on the system to be able to have people jumping between programs.
So let me get this right. So you need to have a license in order to work on multiple programs on different computers?
Without backing out, you do not need to have that. You can. It's a way of being able to jump more quickly from one entry screen or one input screen to another input screen without closing out one and going into the other. It's sort of a way of shortcutting things that the system otherwise protects against because it wants one login session to only be updating one thing at a time. It's sort of a way of tricking the system by having one person logged in as 3 different people. And be able to minimize those screens and jump back and forth and be making entries in different programs. So it's a way of increasing efficiency. It was called out to us, I guess, when you went to visit the commissioner's office, and we are willing to work with you to get some additional user licenses at a minimal cost.
Anything else?
Yeah, I always like to plan just in case, kind of like having a savings account. So in case something goes awry here, do we have a contingency plan, like you're going to send more staff or have staff dedicated to providing a modification if something goes awry and we need a quick fix?
We have been in a mode of responding with staff as needed, so we're we're pretty well, I mean, we're very committed to the project, and we're very committed to the success of the project. And so we've had, I think, even, your staff has pointed out, Debbie's pointed out in writing to me that she recognizes we've got literally staff working weekends and evenings. We will continue that mode. So we're committed to seeing this, and it's really for two reasons. We want to honor the commitment we've made to get this done, but we secondly, and I told your team this, and I reiterated this today to your team, this account's very critical to us from a strategic marketing standpoint for us, because the system we're replacing here is an antiquated system that's installed all over the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's in many, many places. And there are a couple of companies that do what we do now end to end. We want to be the one seeking and getting a lot more of those organizations in this state. So this is a place we want to be able to shine a spotlight on.
Got it.
And tell of a successful story here. So we're very committed to this project and to seeing you all very satisfied.
And are we your first location or your first customer in Northern Virginia?
No, you are not. You are the first customer to be using certain functions, especially the ones we're focused on now, the revenue side applications, some of the things you're doing here. We'd never done business licenses before. The way you're doing motor vehicle processing is unique. But we do have other Commissioner of the Revenue and Treasurer jurisdictions in Virginia, as well as city finance, county finance, school finance. So we have most of these other things installed.
In Northern Virginia?
We have 11 accounts in the whole Commonwealth. In Northern Virginia, the closest neighbor we've got, we do real estate billing in Fauquier County for the Commissioner of the Revenue over there. We do the schools, human resources in Falls Church City Schools.
got it.
So
Okay.
there's a list of references that overlap a lot of what you're doing here.
Okay.
11 of them in Virginia.
Okay, thank you very much. Good update. On to new business. We have an ordinance that we had a public hearing on. We've been asked to go ahead because of the farmer's market, and we have an email from the Commissioner of Revenue asking us to go ahead and take action on the ordinance tonight so that we don't do silly things like collect money that we then have to turn around and potentially rebate. We have the recommended ordinance before us. What's the governing body's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Managers report.
Just a couple quick things. A reminder to everyone that National Night Out is August 2nd at Signal Hill Park. Next farmers market is coming up when, Ryan?
The last Friday in July, I think it's the 27th.
Okay, last Friday in July. And
29th.
just a reminder to everyone in the audience and watching on TV too that Denver Drive is now closed until November.
I want to drumbeat the first thing that she mentioned, and that was National Night Out. It's a grand opportunity for the community to come together to see a lot of the things that go on in our community, in and around our community. There will be activities for youth. There's always some good food to be had, and strongly encourage everybody to please come out. It will be at Signal Hill Park, and plenty of parking, plenty of opportunity to have a good time, and hopefully, if the chief can intercede somehow, we won't have 110-degree heat like is called for this coming Friday. But the date is August the 2nd, I believe, if I remember right.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And what time does it start, Chief?
It's going to start at 5 o'clock and go till 8.
5 to 8 at Signal Hill Park, and hopefully some cool weather, good food, and things for the kids to do and see, and please, everybody, come out. If there's nothing else, Kim, is that it for your manager's report?
Yes.
We have 2 items to go into closed meeting for. City Attorney?
Yeah, there are 2 items, but they're actually covered under a bunch of different sections, so I'm just going to list all the sections. I recommend the governing body go into closed meeting to discuss the performance and disciplining of a specific city employee, discuss and consider the disposition of publicly held real property, where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the city, discuss a prospective business where no previous announcement has been made of the business's interest in locating in the city, and consult with legal counsel regarding a legal matter requiring the provision of legal advice by legal counsel pursuant to paragraphs 1, 3, 5, and 7 of subsection 2.2-3711A of the Code of Virginia.
Governing body's pleasure on going into closed meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All's in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. We'll go in 5 minutes to give folks a chance to get out of the room that need to get out. First item will be the issue of the contract and land use matter.